What is up, Waffle Gang? I do hope you are well. My name is Mark, and today we're covering some more r/am I the butthole. If you'd like to skip the initial waffle, timestamps are in the description and along the timeline below, so please feel free to use them. But if you are new here, please consider hitting that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too, as it all really helps out our channel. It really does. And let's just crack straight on with today's stories. Much love, guys. Now, our first story comes from Am I the Arsehole Trigger Food? Pretty short one, but let's get involved. Am I the arsehole for eating a girl's trigger food in class? This just happened and I'm getting shit from some people in my class. I'm female 16 in concert choir at my school. I love the teacher, but this class is a joke. We've been working on the same song since January 5th and are still not done with the chorus. We only did the chorus. Our teacher lets us eat in class, and I eat a mix of healthy food and absolute shit in class. Today I was eating a bag of Doritos and a girl private messaged me and said I need to put my Doritos away because she has an eating disorder and they trigger her. I said no because I was hungry, and she turned on her mic and said, "Hey OP, Doritos are one of my trigger foods, can you put your food away?" My teacher said I'm fine, but like half the girls in the class agreed with her that I need to put them away. My teacher gave me permission to turn off my camera. District policy is to keep cameras on unless you have teacher's permission to turn it off, and I thought it was problem solved, but I started getting texts and messages in the chat that I'm being a bitch. I told them I'm allergic to seafood, so if you're eating sushi doesn't mean I get to tell you to stop because it makes me upset that I can't have it. And they said it's different, so I wanted to know if I'm the arsehole. Now, I remember a story a while back where we covered about trigger foods again, and it was someone who was eating in their workplace and it triggered someone's eating disorder, and they was, "Oh, that's a trigger food for me, can you stop eating that in the workplace?" And they tried various different methods to cover it up. They actually, I think they put the bag in something, or they tried other things as well. And then this person said, "Oh, it can't be in the same room as me even if I can't see it," and it went down this whole route. And I remember a lot of the comments on that one was similar to, in therapy sessions, they're told to face these trigger foods because not everyone is going to bend over backwards to hide these foods, and they shouldn't be that entitled to either. So I imagine a lot of the comments are probably going to go the same way as this, so we will see in just a second. So within normal limits says not the arsehole. She doesn't have to look at you if she's uncomfortable. If you're hungry, you can't have someone tell you you're not allowed to eat. For her to truly heal from her ED, she's going to have to figure out safe coping mechanisms and improve her relationship with food anyway. Could you imagine requesting to cancel a commercial or take down a billboard ad for Doritos because it makes her uncomfortable? That's an issue with her, not you. And KitP88 says, not the arsehole, it's unfair of her to impose her own restrictions on you. No therapist would recommend that. She has to learn to cope with triggers, not avoid them. And The Strange says, not the arsehole, as someone with disordered eating, it is no one else's issue but mine. You don't get to control what other people eat. That is ridiculous. And Marakaja says, not the arsehole, turning the camera off should have been more than enough. And Sad says, not the arsehole, I had an eating disorder for many years and I'm still very confused on what she means by trigger food. Does that mean she wants to eat it? And Mysterious Weird says, not the arsehole, she is in for a major shock when she gets into the real world. Now, what do you guys think of this story and what would you do in this situation? Let me know in the comments below. And our next story does have an update to it. So this story is from Isabella. Am I the arsehole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind? The title seems really bad, but hear me out. I, 19 female, have an elder sister, 25 female, who recently lost her best friend due to a car accident. They were friends from literally when they were both babies. All this has affected her in a really bad way. It's been 2 months since the accident, and ever since, she has been really quiet. She barely eats anything or talks to anyone. Her college grades have also dropped. Seeing all this, I'm really worried about her. I try talking to her, but she won't open up to me. I couldn't see her like that anymore, so I suggested to my parents that we should let her seek help from a professional like a therapist. But here's the thing, my parents don't believe that mental health issues are real. They are very traditional people when it comes to mental health. Apart from that, they are really up to date with everything. It's just the mental health that feels like a taboo to them. They just told me that there is nothing therapy can do and that she will get over it soon. But I told them that it's not a thing which you can just get over soon, and the condition my sis is in right now, I don't think that she will get over it soon. but my parents wouldn't hear the end of it. They then started telling me about my cousin, whom I really don't know or talk to, that she faked that she was in a really bad mental health state just to get attention from people around her, and that her parents wasted a lot of money and time on her therapy, so they don't believe it. They don't think my sis needs therapy because she is not depressed or anything like that. At this point, I'm furious. I kind of raised my voice and said, "What the fuck, guys? My sister's not like her, and she is clearly not faking it. Can't you guys see her, the way she is being? She is not okay. How fucking blind can you guys be? And are we going to wait around till the time she gets fucking depressed to seek professional help?" Mind this, that this was the first time I was talking to them in this way, and all of this for my sis, who was their daughter as well. My parents got mad at me for raising my voice and calling them blind, and scolded me for talking to them like that and cursing at them. Also told me that I'm young and I shouldn't talk about things that I don't understand. They called me a brat and are not on speaking terms with me. Am I the arsehole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind? Now, as I said, there is an update to this post, so we're going to head straight to the comments first, then we'll go over there. So check the boxes says, "Not the arsehole. You and your sister are both old enough to find a therapist yourselves, so forget the parents and get her a therapist." Gently You says, "Not the arsehole. It sounds as if your sister is already experiencing depression. Have a son that deals with it. Grief will definitely take you through various emotions and can take a while to cope with. Please reach out to someone now for her, and kudos for being a great little sis and looking out for what's best for her. Best to all of you." And Liberal Blue says, "Not the arsehole. Can we stop calling people traditional when it comes to mental health? The word you're looking for is ignorant." And Resolve Pleasant says, "Not the arsehole. You may be the one to raise your voice, but your sister's behaviour are what's screaming for help. It is so sad that you have to frame it as something that your parents should let her do. It sounds as if you're trying so hard to be your sister's voice to your parents. Your sister should be the one to want to see the therapist, but it should be a very viable option. Your parents burying their head in the sand and pretending that depression doesn't exist isn't going to make it go away. Your sister may not slip into depression, but validation and support can really help." So, update. Am I the arsehole for shouting at my parents and calling them blind? The original post is here. Since many of you asked me for the update, here it is. First of all, I want to thank each and every single one of you for showing so much support for my sister and I. Thank you guys for the silver and other awards as well. They are my very first award, so thank you very much. I would also like to thank some of the people with a "you're the arsehole" opinion, because that helped me as well. After reading all of the comments, I went ahead and talked to my sister and asked how she would feel about trying to talk to a professional. She didn't agree right away, but after a little coaxing, she agreed to it. I told her what happened between our parents and I, and let's just say there were many tears and hugs after that. I then made my parents sit down at the dining table. I apologised for shouting and cursing at them, but I told them that mental health is really a thing, and we should at least give talking to a professional one chance. If my sister doesn't feel it's helping her, we will take a look at some other options. My parents didn't agree at first, but then I told them, this time in a very politely manner, that it is a really difficult time for my sister, and we should help her in this time, and knowing that they were here to support would mean the world to her. I also told them that having mental health issues and seeking professional help is nothing to be ashamed of. Instead, we should embrace it because it's okay to need someone's help. At this point, I was a crying mess, and my parents were on the verge of crying as well. They were reluctant, but they agreed. We went to our sister's room and we told her that we are here whenever she needed us. Our parents apologised for behaving the way they did and told us there was nothing more important than seeing their children happy, and that they would be coming to the sessions if my sister feels she needs them there. All this ended in a big hug and lots of happy tears. So my sister is going for an appointment next week, and I hope everything goes well, fingers crossed. Once again, thank you for all for showing support and the positivity. I showed all of the comments to my sister and she was overwhelmed by the support and says thanks to you guys. Thanks for the "you're the arseholes" as well, as my sister saw them and thought you guys were right, as I shouldn't have cursed at my parents. But once again, thank you so much guys. And we get a positive update, and I do love a positive update. A bit of wholesomeness every once in a while. Families to coming together, hugging it out. That's what I love. I thrive for this sort of stuff. You know, most of the time am I the arsehole. There's always something negative going on. We don't usually get wholesome updates. So when we do, it's just like, it is a real rare treat. A bit like when I found a bag of Maltesers in my glove compartment in my car the other day. Oh, it was glorious. I mean, they were all melted together and it was more of a Malteser bar by the end of it, but I still ate that. Grim, I know.
Disgusting!
And our next story has an update as well. Am I the arsehole for snapping at my mum and running away from home, leaving my parents worrying with no knowledge of where I am and if I'm safe for 3 days? Reposted. I know that sounds bad, but bear with me. My parents, 45 female and 44 male, and I, 17 female, have a complicated, strained sort of relationship where they only pay me attention when A, I'm in a life-threatening situation, B, when I act out. I've never really thought they cared about me and ran away from home following a heated argument with my mum where she thought I was out when I wasn't. I was actually hanging out in the yard and reacted badly. I was actually stressed, and so when she exploded and started to yell at me without trying to let me have a word in to explain the misunderstanding, I behaved like a brat. I'll admit now, and I snapped, that it's not like she cared what I was up to, that I wish I'd get out of this miserable shithole and that I don't have to wait for long for that to happen. She lost it and blew up on me, telling me that I was a disgrace, that she regrets the day I was born, and that she wouldn't hold me back if I tried to leave, and that she'd be glad to see the back of me, basically confirming what I thought she felt towards me. I told her if that's her wish, then I want nothing to do with her too. I think she tried to stop me from leaving because she tried to grab my arm, but I was out of her reach and ran off to my neighbour's house before she could catch me. As it was dark, she didn't see where I went off to. Even though I felt guilty about what I said, and because I knew the level of criticism they'd face at our family's hand for not reining me in, I admit I felt it was justified, and that I was preempting them. I didn't try to contact them, because I wanted to see how this will play out, mainly if I'd be welcomed back if I ever returned and not turned to the street. I got cold feet a couple of times while trying to call them, and ultimately decided to leave until a couple of days have passed so they can cool off, which I guess I shouldn't have done. But I didn't count on my parents actually worrying about where I was / if I was safe. Turns out they do care about me. Dad came to take me home the moment he realised where I was, and we had a row about the stunt I pulled and how childish it was. I felt like an arsehole for going no contact after realising just how deep his and her worry ran. Someone told me that it was weird that I felt entitled to my parents' love and attention, and that everything I did was to cause unnecessary drama, which got me thinking that my behaviour is not normal. I'm not proud of what I did, I feel really bad. It was a spur of the moment decision that I took under stress because I genuinely thought that my mother wanted me gone, but I feel conflicted because although my friends are on my side, my extended family think I behaved like a cowardly arsehole who broke her parents' hearts on a whim. This image I built of my cold, neglectful and emotionally distant parents has been destroyed now, and I'm feeling like an ungrateful brat they've always thought me to be. So Reddit, am I the arsehole? Can we just start off by saying Mum in this story, who went ahead and said that she was a disgrace, that she regrets the day she was born, that she wouldn't hold her back if she tried to leave, and that she'd be glad to see the back of her. I mean, what the fuck? Who says that to their child? Now, I know we could go down the whole route of an everyone sucks here because OP did run away, and I think the only reason I'd call it an everyone sucks is because she'd be potentially putting herself in danger by doing so. Because I think if I was in her situation and my mum said that to me, I think I'd be out of there too as well. And in from the descriptions of the story, it just sounds like, you know, she isn't being very well looked after in the situation. I know she's 17 now, but what's the rest of her childhood been like? And I know it's really hard to judge because we haven't got the full story here, but I do feel really bad for OP in this situation, the way they talk and things, and it sounds like a horrible family dynamic to me. So I'll go with a controversial, not the arsehole, because why not? And then we'll start off with Sass Republic saying, and quoting, telling me that was a disgrace and that she regrets the day I was born, that she wouldn't hold me back if I tried to leave, and then she'd be glad to see the back of me, and then says, this is abuse. A parent saying this kind of vile shit to their child for any reason is completely fucking inexcusable. Your parents probably do love you, but that doesn't make them good parents. Worrying about you when you're missing doesn't make them good parents. Your mother is abusive and your father is neglectful at best. And quote, someone told me that it was weird that I felt entitled to my parents' love and attention. And then says, this is the most fucking psychotic thing I have ever heard in my life. Whoever said this to you should be cut out of your life immediately. Like, this is actually genuinely insane. Edited because I hit post too soon, not the arsehole. You have a lot of horrible, toxic, cruel people in your life, and I hope you can get away from them one day. And Trial and Error says, well, I can kind of understand why you impulsively reacted this way. It was immature. Try to think first, then respond later if it's not an emergency. Is there a way you can all go to family therapy? The dynamics in your family are way off. Everyone sucks here. And Little Miss Paul Lol says, everyone sucks here, but you, A, shouldn't have ran away because something seriously bad could have happened to you, and B, should have probably go to therapy with your mother because it seems like you guys have a very unstable relationship, and C, even though your mother seems neglectful, it also seems like she loves you a lot. Therapy would be the best choice, to be honest. And International Eye says, not the arsehole, running away is not a good idea. I don't encourage you doing that, but I understand why you did it. You are feeling unloved and like you didn't matter. Go no contact as soon as you can and try to get therapy. I'm sorry you're going through this, and if you ever need to chat, my inbox is always open. And now we're going to move up to the update to see what that says. So, update. Am I the arsehole for snapping at my mum and running away from home, leaving my parents worrying with no knowledge of where I am and if I'm safe for 3 days? First, I'd like to thank everyone who commented and texted me. That's sweet of you guys, didn't expect this kind of support and encouragement. Some of you asked for an update, so here it is. I spoke to my parents about starting therapy. As predicted, they weren't too impressed with the idea, but the moment I said that getting professional help would ensure nothing like that will happen again, they started considering it. I think that the idea that I might run away from them again pretty much sealed the deal. We had our first session yesterday. I'm still shaken over it. Surprisingly, Mum, who's been more snappish about the whole therapy business, is unseemingly OP, was the first to open up. It took some probing of course, but I don't think I've ever heard her talk so much. She's sorry about what she said and did. Apparently, from what the therapist concluded, she has some unresolved trauma they'd need to work on concerning me getting lost at 9 years old. Huh, forgot about that. She admitted she constantly feared it'd happen again, and when she didn't find me in her room, she feared the worst. I have the habit of texting her my exact whereabouts, something I promised to do when I was 14 to get her off my back, but I never realised she read all messages and caused my friends' parents to be sure I'm safe. I apologise for snapping at her and disappearing for 3 days, but I can see that they still don't trust me not to bolt. They said that they still have nightmares over it happening, which explains why they come to check on me in the middle of the night, and I feel so bad, but we're working on it. I'll spare you the details because trust me, there's a lot, but what stayed with me is Dad recounting a conversation we had about my friends and how I told him they at least understood and liked me. His answer at the time was that he found neither to be important and he apologised for it now, for how little he understood back then. Another thing was Mum saying that she didn't know how to be gentle and how she struggles to act on her maternal instincts without coming off as overbearing. We unloaded a whole set of insecurities about how she wasn't permitted to be doting and loving as she would have wanted because of my grandparents' involvement, how Dad felt my acting out was me trying to free myself of them, and a lot of stuff I couldn't possibly type within 3,000 character limit, lol. Therapist train of thought is that the way we were raised and how the family acts, it's not surprising that their parenting tactics focus more on dominating me rather than being emotionally available, like I need. We finished the session with them telling me how much they love me and how proud they are of me, which tears me up even now. So everything is good. We're working on our relationship. It's a slow process and takes a lot of patience, but it's worth it and we're already seeing results. So thank you, all of you. A lot, really. Wow, is that 2 positive updates in a row? What is going on here? I know there's a lot of work to be done in there, but still, I consider that a positive in my eyes anyway. And I saw this next story a little while back and I didn't cover it, but it has an update attached to it now, so we will cover it this time round. So this story is from Frustrated and Done. Am I the arsehole for pouring my husband's sweet tea down the drain and marching out? I lost my part-time job due to COVID and I've basically become a little housewife. I'm fine with that, as that's always been my role in my relationship anyways. It's just less hard to keep up with now. I'm also in school for nursing, but obviously I'm doing that from home. My husband works full-time and works hard. His commute to work is very long, over an hour each way. We go running together every day, and because I know it's a lot of stress for him, we meet 20 minutes away from our home so he doesn't have to come home and drive back out. He calls me when he's 20 minutes away and I leave. Today, I was 7 minutes late as I had to turn off all the lights and get myself together before leaving the house. When I got there, he copped a major attitude with me for being late, refused to even speak to me, for being 7 minutes late. I tried to explain that I had to put my shoes on and turn out the lights, but he wouldn't talk to me. The run was very awkward, and when we got home, he said that he felt he had every right to be angry and stomped off upstairs. I've had a lot of pent-up feelings about the fact that he always expected me to be at his beck and call. It's like he thinks the whole world revolves around his time schedule because I lost my job. Anytime he's hungry, thirsty, he yells my name. He doesn't even serve his own plates anymore. It's like he thinks I just sit there in the dark with my hands folded, waiting for him to call. At this point, I knew he was being ridiculous, and I was just so upset that I did something that may make me the asshole. When he came downstairs, I told him that he could make his own dinner, his own lunch tomorrow for work, and I looked him straight in the eye as I poured the pitcher of sweet tea I make him every week down the drain and said, "You can make your own fucking sweet tea too, you ungrateful brat." And I walked out and drove to my mum's house. So, am I the arsehole for that overreaction? I was just so annoyed. And we're just going to cover a couple of the comments on this one before we move on to the update. So Podcast of the Dragon says, "Not the arsehole. I felt like that Everybody Sucks crowd had a point until I saw he's 31 and you were 19 and he specifically wanted a housewife. Look, age gap relationships can work out fine and be perfectly healthy, provided the older partner treads with care. He has an obligation to be especially mindful, patient, kind, and to make your needs and comfort the focus of the relationship. He should be letting you guide everything, following your lead, and not concerning himself with what he wants. Otherwise, he's just an exploitative creep." And Music with Rocks on replies to this, saying, no, 19 and 31 is never going to be okay. That means at 30, he went out and found a girl that was legal by the skin of her teeth and married her as fast as he could. That is so deeply not okay. I mean, clearly this dude was looking for a hot young bangmaid, but I don't see any scenario where a 30-year-old can go after an 18-year-old without being a creep. And we have one more comment with Rosie saying, "Okay, there's a lot here. Girl, you are 19. You and this man are not equals. He thinks of you more as a maid than as a partner, and that's not going to change. You've got a whole life to live, and you can't limit yourself to serving an older man who doesn't care about you forever. Leave, find a job, even a shitty one for now. Find local food pantries. If you can't afford a cheap place right now, try to stay with friends. You are worth so much more than this. Nothing wrong with being a housewife, but only in a fair partnership, which this is clearly not. Go live your life, not the arsehole." Now let's move to the update. I don't think this is going to be a wholesome one though. Update, am I the arsehole for pouring my husband's sweet tea down the drain? So it's been a few days since my original post. Everyone was so kind, helpful and supportive. I received so many messages and I want to thank each one of you for them. They meant more to me than you know. Well, I've left my husband and it really wasn't over this one incident, but really a build-up of many. Before I made the post, I wasn't completely blind to what I'd been doing in terms of control. As weird as it seems, sometimes I just forget that I am an adult and I don't have to just yes sir and listen to any man that's older than me. I am an adult now. I make my own rules. I feel sick saying this, but I realise I've been viewing him as a parental figure and not a partner. It makes my stomach twist to even type that, but that is what it is. I don't really want to analyse it right now. It's too gross. I'm honestly going through a really tough grieving time right now. I feel like such a failure. What's worse is that he does not care in the least. When I called him to tell him I was leaving, he said, "Okay, let me know when you want to grab your stuff. We can have you moved out ASAP." And that was it. That was all he said before he hung up the phone. I'm really hurting. I loved him so much, and I think part of me just wanted to see if he was willing to fight for me and apologise. He was not, so that's it. But although I'm hurting, I feel free. My mum has welcomed me back. She's so happy I'm divorcing him. I got together with my friends who he wouldn't let me see. I watched TV shows he told me were too childish, and I've been wearing ugly sweatpants and oversized t-shirts that he always said made me look like a man. So thank you, all of you. I got a wake-up call I desperately needed. I don't even want to be a housewife. I never wanted that for me. No hate on anyone who does. Honestly guys, it was hard and lonely work. I'm going to get my RN, which I assume is registered nurse, and then move on to my masters. You've all encouraged me in the best way possible. Now, I know I said coming into this one, it's not going to be, a wholesome ending, but I think that's a bloody pretty positive ending. You go girl. It sounds like you dodged a bullet there, a massive one at that. So well done you for escaping that and being free once again. It sounded like a very strange relationship, and he was trying a big power trip on you there when he turned around and said, okay, let me know when you can grab your stuff and we can have you moved out ASAP. He was trying to control you once again. And thank whatever powers that be out there, you dodged that. Well done to you. Now, what do you guys think of this story? What do you think about the updates too? Let me know in the comments below. Once again, guys, thank you for being here today. I hope you did enjoy today's stories, and if you did, you know what to do. Hit that like, that subscribe, and maybe that notification bell too. A huge thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. Really does mean the world to me, and I will see you in the next one. Take care, guys. Much love.